And good morning. Welcome to Exiles TV. I'm Bill Profita. Glad to have you along with us this morning, as always. Kevin will not be in today. Kevin has an appointment that he needs to take care of, so hopefully everything will go well and we will see him on our next broadcast. Also, I'm going to remind you of this a couple of times this morning. This show will not be live tomorrow. It will be a pre-recorded show on Wednesday, due to our crew here, our able crew, you know, the cameras, the lights, the sound, the graphics people, the switching the shots back and forth. They have to be doing some work out at Southern University for their basketball team tomorrow. And so they will not be able to be in two places at one time. They're very good, but they can't defeat the time-space continuum just yet. So tomorrow, we will be a recording, but we'll be back live day after. I want to talk about a story that is in the news and is going to continue to be in the news. Have you seen the surveillance video of the shooting in the gun store in Metairie? We talked about this a lot yesterday, and we talked about initial reactions. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But the surveillance video from inside the gun store is about as cold-blooded and calculated as you will ever see. According to the video, and according to the sheriff, Joe Lapinto of Jefferson Parish, the shooter, Joshua Jamal Williams, who died at the scene because people returned fire, had 31 rounds in his pistol, had the extended magazine, and according to his brother, who was hit by gunfire, we don't know who hit him yet, one of the other people there or his own brother, but according to his brother, he said he just snapped. He said he didn't say anything, he just opened fire. Now the first shot, he didn't even shoot inside the building. The first shot, he was at the door when they said, hey, you need to unload your weapon. And he turned around and he fired it across Airline Highway. Apparently nothing was hit over there. Then, standing in the doorway, a lady who was there to pick up a firearm, she was unarmed. It was her first time there because she had ordered a firearm for her own safety. How ironic is that? Heard the shot and ran toward the door. And you can clearly see him in the video taking a shooting stance. She's only about 6 feet away. And he hit her twice. And she was killed at the scene. He then steps outside. It could have ended there. By then, everybody who was armed in the building, the staff who worked there, and the other customers who were on the range, and their guns were loaded because they were on the shooting range, came out. They could see him in the doorway, and they fired, and you see bullets from them striking the door. You see the glass shattering. And then he disappears for a second. You think, okay, it's over here. No. He goes back in, and he goes back in a shooting stance, and he's looking for targets. He's roaming, and he's firing. And of course, he's getting return fire, and he runs outside, and they follow him outside. He fires his last round, and that's when he is hit. Drops to the pavement. He is dead. He killed this lady, Veronica Biot. He killed Herbert Noah Fishbach, who worked there at the gun store and who was doing his job as a safety officer for the range, saying you can't have a loaded gun except on the range. You need to unload it. And then there are three other people, because his brother was wounded, and two others that have yet to be identified and who are in the hospital. The video speaks for itself. The sheriff gave a very graphic, detailed version of what was happening during those moments in that gun store. He will not have to face a jury of his peer or answer to the charges because he is dead. The sheriff said something very interesting. He said he'd like to thank those who were working there, who neutralized the threat, who returned fire and put him on the ground. Now, if you will remember, in the immediate aftermath of this, with the witness reports all saying the same thing, his relatives started saying that he was murdered in cold blood by the people at that firing range, that he didn't do anything, that he didn't provoke it, that he would have never gone in there looking for a gunfight because he knows everybody in there is armed, that they murdered him. And if you'll remember also, and I hope I'm not the only one, that made me outraged, because that is a conditioned response that is a contagious cancer in our country, in our city, and in these communities. Before the facts are known, before the video surveillance is taken into account, that relatives, and they get other relatives who were not there, to scream that this man was murdered. Now, this man obviously had some serious issues. If he could just snap like that and pull the trigger 31 times. By the way, his two kids and his brother were in that gun store when he was firing in there. But one of the problems that we have in this society is blame somebody else for your relative's bad deeds. It happens everywhere in our society, but it appears to happen a lot more often in one particular segment of our society. Now, no one has yet, from WDSU or WWL or WGNO, gone back to this lady that they gave so much airtime on Sunday, and they allowed her to accuse the people in that store, two of whom, by the way, were killed, of murdering her son. They haven't gone back to see what she has to say for herself now. And if the first thing is a cancer, this second thing is the metastatic part of the cancer that breaks off and goes to the other parts of the body, where you have media people, particularly television people, who will allow these folks to say outrageous, unproved, and they should know in their known minds probably questionable things on their air, and they'll run it, if the story is still alive, 3 or 4 times in a 24-hour period. But then they don't go back. They don't put the mic in her face and say, "Ma'am, on my station, to me, which got broadcast, you made an accusation of murder. And as we can clearly see, that is not what happened. So, would you like to take that back now?" They don't do it. You know why? You know why? Because they don't want to be insensitive. Because this poor lady just lost her son. Well, her son is dead. That's true. He died mostly at his own hand. That's also true. He was not murdered. That is true. And you know what comes out of the back end of a chicken when it's walking around the barnyard while it's scratching and eating? You know what comes out the back? You know what that is, right? That's exactly what all these reporters are, who put this on the air and then don't go back because, oh, we want to be sensitive. She lost her son. You know what? Be sensitive to the good of the whole. Either don't put that crap on the air in the first place until it's proven, or do your job properly and go back, because you took the video, you took the audio, you did the editing, you put it on your air, you go back and say, what do you have to say for yourself now? You inflamed an entire community with this accusation. You made people angry. We're lucky there weren't more deaths because of what you had to say. What do you have to say for yourself now? They're not going to do it, because they're all, in cases like this, what comes out of the back end of that chicken when it's walking around the barnyard pecking and scratching. And that is a damn shame. We'll be back with more in a moment on Exiles TV.
Taste the feeling.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
TV. Glad to have you along with us. I am Bill Profita. Kevin is out today. He will be with us for our next broadcast. And again, I'm going to remind you, and I will continue to remind you, that on Wednesday, we will be a recording. There is a Southern University basketball program that needs to be aired by our very adept production crew here, and they can't be in two places at one time. So we will be in a recorded mode for playback, which is why I'm trying to give you good stuff today, because you're going to see it twice. And then we will be back as normal on Thursday morning. Another story we talked about yesterday is this 13-year-old in Baton Rouge, where there was some cell phone video of him being restrained by police officers. He was charged with battery on a police officer, resisting arrest, disturbing the peace, a couple of other things. You can see in cell phone video that was taken by one of the bystanders, who I believe is a relative of the kid, that there are 4 cops. They are trying to get him under control. One cop has him on the ground and has the kid face up like this, and his arm is crooked underneath the kid's neck, keeping his head off the pavement, and he's putting his shoulder across the kid until other officers come over and lift him up, take control of his arms, and cuff him. Somebody called the mayor's office and said they were using an illegal chokehold. They were going George Floyd on this kid. The mayor said, okay, I'm going to call the chief and make sure that there's going to be a look at this. And the chief said, well, there will be a look at this. The family, of course, got a lawyer. I don't know why, because it's not to defend the kid. This kid's going to go to juvenile court for this. He's unidentified because he's a juvenile. So the police chief yesterday said, yeah, we've looked at the body camera from all the officers that were there. I counted 4 that I could see. There might have been more. The chief told us that they had been to that address about 20 minutes before what everybody is seeing on video. That they were there for a disturbing the peace, public nuisance kind of call. There were kids that were outside. They were making a racket. They were tussling around. They were yelling and screaming. One of the neighbors didn't like it, called the cops. Cops came over. They talked to him and said, look, we don't want to write any citations. We don't write any tickets. Just everybody kind of keep it down a little bit. Don't aggravate your neighbors. We'll be fine. Cops left. They got called back 20 minutes later to the same address for the same reason. And they said, guys, we need to talk to you. I'm paraphrasing that. I don't know what they said exactly, but they definitely wanted to interact personally with these young citizens. And then basically it became a resisting arrest, battery on a police officer, scramble around type of thing. Now, if we are going to get to see the body cam video, it will be a while. Because they are juveniles, because they have been charged, that record of what happened is protected just like their names and their ages. In other words, a juvenile court judge is going to have to sign off on whether or not that body cam video can be released to the general public. I am doubting that it will be, because if it looks anything like the video that got the mayor called, it certainly appears that the police officers were handling him as gently as they could under the circumstances, and that there was no chokehold, there was no knee to the neck, there were none of the things that were alleged by the person who called the mayor's office. That being said, the issue of they've got an attorney, and the attorney made the rounds. I'm sure he was on Channel 2 and Channel 33 and Channel 44, but I saw him on WAFB Channel 9. And this attorney looked right at the reporter who asked him, do you think that the police officer should not have been restraining him? How can you think that? If he was resisting, if he was non-compliant. And here's what this attorney said. This attorney said, if he didn't have a badge and a gun, but he was an adult of the same age and the same size, and he had his hands on that child, it would be a felony crime. I don't think so. But what the attorney is saying, and went on to say, in more flowery language than I have, is that there is no time a police officer should ever lay hands on a juvenile unless they are in immediate danger of hurting themselves or hurting someone else. In other words, this attorney doesn't believe that the police should take a juvenile into custody unless the juvenile will cuff themselves and go sit in the back of the car. This is insane. Now, we all know what's going to happen. They're going to try to say that the family and the aunt who took the video and the kid suffered irreparable emotional harm from this encounter, and they're going to try to get a settlement out of the city. And judging by what the city is doing these days, with offering 7-figure settlements, they're going to get some money. But you know something, folks? for those of you who live in East Baton Rouge Parish, but those of you who don't, those of you who live in other parishes, the relative of the kid with the cell phone is not the only one that can call the mayor. They're not the only one that can call the mayor and say, look, I appreciate you looking into this type of thing, but I would also appreciate you looking into law and order in our community and addressing some of these issues that come directly to you, which basically say, if it's a young black male, you should give them a pass. You shouldn't detain them. You shouldn't arrest them. If they run from you, you shouldn't chase them. If you do chase them and you catch them, you shouldn't hold them down. I said that the aggrieved parties here are not the only ones that can call the office of the mayor and let their thoughts be known. Now, we all know that in Baton Rouge, for those of you in other cities, you may have this, you may not. The mayor here chooses from a group of candidates to get a police chief. Chief Murphy Paul, who has excellent credentials, has served now for about three and a half years, but he was selected by Mayor Broome immediately after her first election. So I guess maybe closer to 4 years he has served, somewhere around there. I don't want anybody to feel pressure in this case to make it a racial incident. Because if that starts to happen, the integrity of the police investigation is going to come into question, and it probably will anyway, by opportunists who want to use it to cause a disruption in the police department or to further the notion of a cash grab for damages. So, for those of you in East Baton Rouge Parish, you can call the mayor's office too and let your thoughts be known that you hope that because it's a juvenile and because the arresting officer is Caucasian and the juvenile who was arrested is African American, I hope you will express your thoughts that you would like to see this investigation conducted quickly, efficiently, and fairly, and we want no one involved to feel any bias pressure for an outcome. That's very important when you're dealing with things like this, to stop so many of these specious and spurious claims that are as contagious as wildfire, particularly in the youth community. This is the kind of thing that needs to be handled completely openly, completely fairly, and the body camera shows what the body camera shows. And I do not want to hear, are you going to change your procedures, Chief, in light of this video? If procedures need to be changed, it shouldn't be because of this video. And you better be very, very careful for what you ask for out there in that community. I mean, there were other options. You know what? That officer could have tased that guy. Never had to put his hands on him until he fell. But he chose not to do that because it looks like this kid weighs maybe 110 pounds. And that can be a hell of a jolt. So, make your, we have a problem. The only one that ever gets heard is the person that's got a grievance, whether it's valid or not. So, make your voice heard right now. Back with more in a moment on Exiles TV.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonCountryClub.com.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Team Honda wants to thank you for once again making us Louisiana's #1 new car dealer by offering you never-before-seen savings. For the first time ever, get 0% financing up to 60 months on some of your favorite Honda models. Get thousands in savings right now at Team Honda on Segan Lane.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Glad to have you along with us this morning. I'm Bill Profita. Kevin Gallagher has an appointment. He will not be with us for the show today. Oh, and we will not be live tomorrow. It will be a recording. Our crew, which works very, very hard on a lot of different projects, also does a lot of the spectacular television work you see for Southern University sports. And they're doing something for Southern University basketball tomorrow, which requires our crew and our cameras to be at the university during the time we are doing our show, and our show is live, it's not taped. So they can't be in two places at one time. They haven't mastered that yet, but they will be out there doing their jobs exemplary, and we will be on tape for tomorrow and tomorrow only. If you live in the South, and all of us here, some of you watching us on YouTube may live in other places, but all of us here live in the South, and we know that any carbonated drink, any drink at all that's got color and has bubbles, we call it a Coke. I want a Coke. Sometimes you say, what kind of Coke you want? And then you'll say, well, I want a Sprite. But the Coca-Cola Company apparently is getting some internal and external backlash from an online diversity training, the Confronting Racism course offered by LinkedIn Education that was being used by Coca-Cola to help to train their employees to be a little more shall we say, open and sensitive and diverse. Now, this particular training has now been removed from Coca-Cola's lexicon because of the backlash that they've been gotten. This Confronting Racism course is quite interesting. it urges people to be less white. Clarence is over there chuckling. It urges people to be less white.
I could do that.
It's just, it's very, very ham-handed. This is, you may have heard of this woman, Robin DiAngelo, is the sociologist who wrote this Confronting Racism course and meant to be online and part of LinkedIn education. And I can understand why it would be online, but she's kind of, there are many people, she is the author of a book called White Fragility as well. There are a lot of people that think that Ms. DiAngelo goes a little far with some of her missives. But the Vice President of Corporate Communications for Coca-Cola said the Confronting Racism course featuring Robin DiAngelo is no longer available in our course library at the request of the third content provider that we license this content from. In other words, LinkedIn is not carrying it because Coca-Cola and their LinkedIn link don't want it as part of their coursework anymore. But here's one of the slides. This is a screen capture of one of the slides that comes up when you are taking this course. And it says, to be less white is to be less oppressive. Okay, I can get that. Be less arrogant. That's a judgment call. I'm sorry, I can't do anything about it. Be less certain. Okay, now here, if you want to embrace your brethren and sisterin of other races, you better not be right, except about this. I don't know any other way to read that.
We're talking about you, Bill.
Be less certain? Tomorrow, so that we can comply, we're going to start to hire as many dumbasses as we can, particularly the white ones. And we're in the South, so there's plenty of them, so that they can be less certain. It continues. Be less defensive. Be less ignorant. Now again, ignorance is different from stupidity. Ignorance means you just haven't been taught or don't have the information. You know, stupid is, well, stupid is. Be more humble. Okay? Listen. Believe. Break with apathy. Break with white solidarity. You know what? I don't think I've ever heard white solidarity before. But anyway, this is how you should be less white, according to Robin DiAngelo. Coca-Cola has denied, by the way, that this training was mandatory. But multiple workers who jumped in after the whistleblower released it said, oh no, we were told it was required. It was mandatory. Now, here is the CYA coming from both LinkedIn Education. They're going to take a big hit on this. Nobody's going to boycott Coca-Cola. Come on. Y'all going to go out and drink Pepsi? Y'all going to go out and drink Diet Right or Knee-High? And Pepsi's making or Coke's making half the products that aren't even labeled as Coke anymore. Coca-Cola product. Trust me when I tell you. It says so in the fine print right down here. So anyway, here's what LinkedIn is saying to cover their butts. We provide a wide variety of learning content, including more than 270 courses on the topics of diversity, inclusion, and belonging. We will continue to add new courses to help people learn the skills they need to be more successful in their career, including the foundational skills we all need to be effective allies and to help build a more equitable future. The title slide on this, when you open it up, It says, confronting racism, understanding what it means to be white, challenging what it means to be racist. So, you know, I personally, I think that true racism is so ingrained in so many people that are truly racist that an online course isn't going to help. That you're just better off acting on the actions of the truly racist, and if they cannot be corrected, then they can be eliminated from your workforce. I am amazed. I am absolutely amazed at the tens of millions of dollars major companies spend on courses like this and on in-person education and on seminars on the three letters, the EDI, equity, diversity, and inclusion. I did a calculation for someone a couple years ago about the cost in employee downtime. You know, when they're supposed to be making the widget, and instead they're sitting in a classroom saying, be less certain. And this is for you white folks. This is not for you Asian folks. This is not for you African American folks. This is not for your Native American. This is definitely not for you Hispanic folks. But for you white folks, you know, instead of making the widget, they're sitting in a classroom listening to someone with big hair saying, be less certain. Confront your white racism. The widgets aren't getting made. So I did a calculation, and with what they pay for these courses and for the instructors and the downtime on their employees in a small business, it's 6 figures easily. And they don't just do one, they do a bunch of them. They do 5 or 6 a year. If they've got employees in other cities, they fly them all in and they put them in hotel rooms so they can sit around and learn to be, here you go, here's another slide saying, try to be less white. You know, it's, and I'm sorry, for most of these people, you know, there's the old expression, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Most of these people are going to these courses as an employment gun to their head because they have to go. Chances are you're not going to have a breakthrough to a true racist in these courses. They're not going to say, you know what, I'm going to be less white tomorrow. I'm going to be less certain. I'm going to be more humble. I'm going to be less ignorant. And for the employers, when they go back to their gilded offices at these big businesses, they say, oh, I'll hold them for a little while. It is all, when it's orchestrated this way and people are making money at it, it's all, oh, shut up, Mary Lou, and get back in the truck. That's what it is. What will make you stop whining? What will make you stop saying, we're not on the cutting edge? And what they really ought to do is all these giant companies, if they really want to make some inroads, fire all of your HR people, every single one of them. They are too easily influenced by, oh, we got to have a course. We got to have a course on diversity. We'll have problems if we don't have a course on diversity. Fire all of your HR people. Hire me, hire Clarence, hire Kevin, give us a nice office, and run your people through one at a time. And we'll tell you who's a racist and who can't be helped, and you'll have a giant trap door. They can stand on it, and you can eject them into another employment situation. But my God, the money and time wasted. Seriously, could I take? Would I escape with my life if in a public place or a public forum of employment, when we were all back in Guaranty Broadcasting, if I had a meeting and I put up a slide and I said, Clarence, you got to try to be less black, would I escape with the hair on my head and the skin on my butt? Hell no. Which is the litmus test for these kind of things. Now, I've heard people say, well, if Coca-Cola's doing this, I'm going to boycott Coca-Cola. There's another grand stupidity. Because you're not.
You love drinking Pepsi.
Yeah, you're not going to boycott Coca-Cola. And you know what? Blame Coca-Cola for being a wimp. Okay? Blame them for being a wimp. Always remember that they're a wimp. But there is not a corporation in America, large or small, that isn't being pressured to do this kind of thing and who isn't bowing to the pressure to do it. And oh my God, if you have state contracts or federal contracts, and you know what, when you're Coca-Cola, you can't avoid having a state or a federal contract, because I'm sure there are Coca-Cola products that go into vending machines in state buildings. There are Coca-Cola products that go into MRE kits in the military. There are Coca-Cola products that are used in hospitals that are owned by the VA or owned by the state. I mean, when you're a giant, and it would be the same thing if you're Johnson & Johnson. You know, they want to know, because Congress is telling them, you need to make sure that you're telling us what you're doing to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion, and what you're trying to do to limit racism in your workplace. And you know what? Here's the offensive part about it. That very statement has a clear implication that we believe that all of you have racism in your workplace. And we believe that you don't try to address it. And that's why we believe you've got to report back to us whether you're doing an equity, diversity, and inclusion seminar, and it's ongoing. You have to hire people to do it. I mean, have you noticed, folks? It's happened in the last couple years at ULL, at LSU, at Louisiana Tech, at UNO. They have done news releases where they talk about creating a position or elevating someone to a rank. Vice Chancellor for Diversity Affairs. I didn't think I heard anything about Southern doing that, just saying. Or Grambling. They're going to find some pasty white guy and put him in charge, give him a title Vice Chancellor of Diversity Affairs? No, because I know it's stupid, by the way. It's all shut up, Mary Lou, and get back in the truck. Sad. We'll be back in a moment to wrap it up on Exiles TV.
Balello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Balello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with the Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Of all the auto brands on the road today, only one has been named the best auto brand for 6 straight years. That brand is Mazda. Come shop and save on the award-winning lineup of new Mazdas right now at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
On January 25, 2021, Pelican Broadcasting Network, LLC, licensee of KPBN LP Channel 11, RF Channel 11, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, filed an application with the Federal Communications Commission for renewal of its broadcast license. Members of the public wishing to view this application or obtain information about how to file comments and petitions on the application can visit www.fcc.gov/station search and search in the list of KPBN LP's filed applications.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. I'm Bill Profita. Kevin is off today, and tomorrow you will be seeing a recording of Exiles TV. It's not that we don't love you, but our crew cannot be in two places at one time, and they've got a Southern basketball program that they will be doing on location. They do all of the Southern University sports, and they do a hell of a job with it. So I just want to let you know, we will be recording tomorrow, then we'll be back live on Thursday. This Coca-Cola Equity, Diversity, and Trading course that we've been talking about for the last few minutes, I think something that is very, very interesting is that one of the first public notices about this was done by a podcaster who has 786,000 followers. Who that's no slouch. That's a lot of people listen to this guy every day. And I'm trying to find his podcast name right now so that I can share it with you. And of course, the old iPad here is acting up, and I can't get it up. But I was listening to this from his mouth yesterday, and one of the things that's most interesting about it is he talked about how ridiculous it was for Coca-Cola or any other company to take a training program from Robin DiAngelo, who is obviously extremely biased in the way she views race relations in this nation. And he also talked about people saying that they were going to boycott Coca-Cola if they didn't take this down, which he thought was kind of specious. But he said it plays into the culture of, you know, you didn't get the promotion that you wanted, blame the white guy. Your life isn't going the way you want it, blame the white guy. And I found it very interesting because this particular podcaster, like I said, very successful, 786,000 followers of his daily podcast. He's a black man. And his name is Landon. I believe it's Landon Williams. And you can look for his podcasts, and you can find, because they archive them like everybody that podcasts does, you can find that where he goes through his entire rant. He spends about 25 minutes on this. And not only did I find him exceptionally entertaining as a podcaster, and I will tell you, I will watch his podcast again because he has video of him sitting behind the mic, and I will listen for him again. But I also found it very, very moving because if you think Coca-Cola is getting all kinds of criticism and trolls and hate mail because of this course, think of the kind of thing that this black podcaster must be putting up with now, since he went public saying he thought it was ridiculous and it was another blame the white man. So Landon, keep it up. Thank you so much, and I'm hoping you're not getting trolled too badly, buddy. Back in a moment on Exiles TV.
Caught spiders.
Premier Pest Services.
We're making 2021 the year of savings, and it starts right now at Team Toyota. Come get a new 21 Corolla for just $189 a month, or get a 20 Camry for just $19,995. It's a year full of savings starting right now, right here at Team Toyota.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bugg Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Glad to have you along with us this morning. Again, tomorrow, which will be Wednesday, we will be recorded. We will not be live. And real quickly, in the election for Louisiana's 5th Congressional District, which gets into East Baton Rouge Parish and the Felicianas, and the 5th Congressional District, 5th and 2nd, those seats are vacant. Luke Ledlow passed away before he could take office. Cedric Richmond took a job with the Biden administration. The election is the 20th of March. We have a lot of viewers in District number 2. Early voting will run 15 days. So you will begin to early vote on the 5th of March. If you have not registered to vote, you need to do that, as I understand it, within the next week. So early voting is going to happen 15 days prior to the election. The election is scheduled for March 20th. Early voting goes March 6th through 13th, excluding the 7th. And again, you need to register to vote. If you've not registered or you need to change your registration, you need to do that at your local registrar of voters in the next couple of days before this weekend. That's all we have for you today. We're so glad you are with us. Again, a reminder, Clarence Buggs comes up next, and you can watch the replay of this show at 10 o'clock tonight. We will not be live tomorrow. We will be recorded, and then we will be back with you live on Thursday. So in the meantime, thank you so much for joining us. Kevin Gallagher will be back with us on Thursday, and we hope that you will stay well. And I guess I don't have to tell you to stay warm anymore, at least for the next 10 days or so. But have a great day. Clarence Buggs coming your way in about 5 minutes. Thanks for joining us on Exiles TV.
Furniture and Appliances, your dependable